welcome back to Yulan's channel. Today we'll be continuing our repeat psychology journey, and today we'll be focusing on Unit 5.5, Forgetting and Memory Distortion. So keep watching if you want to find more about why you forget something. No matter how much information we try to memorize, we always forget something. It's so frustrating, especially when studying for a test. The cool thing about this unit is that you could learn some tips on how to strengthen your memory and consolidate content when studying a lot of subjects like AP psychology. So the first trick we'll talk about is Ebbinghaus curve, which is also known as the forgetting curve. This is developed, as the name suggests, by Hermann Ebbinghaus, and he is one of the psychologists most known for studying human memory. So as this photo shows here. This curve shows that you forget about 75% of the information you learn in one day without relearning or rehearsing. Eventually, this curve levels off. He is also the one that figured out the ways you can help improve your memory, which we sort of discussed a little bit in the previous video. So just a quick recall, we talked about rehearsal. The more you rehearse the information, the less you forget over time. Time spent, the more time you spend memorizing content, the less you forget or need to relearn. Spacing, in fact, is the spacing out your learning rather than cramming. And overlearning, if you continue reviewing content after you already memorized it, you are less likely to forget it. And finally, we have testing effect. Quiz yourself rather than just reading the information on your test over and over again. Here are some terms for memory interference. Sometimes you may forget something because another piece of information gets in the way. The first interference is retroactive interference. This is when it becomes harder to recall an old information because of learning new information. An example of this is switching your password from Psych 2020 to Psych number 2021, and then not being able to recall your old password. This is when new information blocks old. Our second type is proactive interference. This is when it becomes harder to recall new information rather than old information because of old information in the past. The old information affects the ability to learn new information. Using the password idea previously, you may only remember /2020 and cannot recall your new password, psych number 2021, because of the old information. In an FAQ about one of these two terms, you should know how to clearly specify what the new information is and what the old information is. And also, to indicate interference occurring, use the words blocking or preventing. This really shows your understanding of the terms. Here are some amnesia examples. Amnesia is another reason why you might not remember something. It is the inability to remember past memories or events, and these are different types of amnesia. The first one is retrograde amnesia. Occurs when someone is unable to recall their most recent memories and their general past. Usually, this sort of amnesia occurs after an emotional or physically traumatic event, because there are some details from the event that the victim might not want to remember. And then we have anterograde amnesia. This is when an individual is unable to form new memories. Past memories or long-term memories can still be recalled, but we have no awareness of it. Our third type is source amnesia, also called misattribution error. It's the inability to recall how you learned previously acquired information. For instance, some people won't remember if they heard a joke they made repeated back to them. Source amnesia could also refer to not remembering where you heard about or imagined or experienced something. This happens a lot. You know how in a movie, songwriters often unintentionally plagiarize and say they never heard of the other source? This is a source amnesia in action. And then we have deja vu. This is really commonly heard, and this is a false sense where you feel that you experienced a situation before, but you've actually never experienced this before. And our last amnesia here is under source amnesia is misinformation effect. Human memory is not perfect. To illustrate, crime scene eyewitnesses often remember events and the characteristics of people incorrectly, even though they might have witnessed the crime and saw the perpetrator. perpetrator. The misinformation effect states that a person's recall of an event is negatively impacted and become less accurate due to information after the event. After the event occurs, you might incorporate some inaccurate information about what occurred, influencing attitudes and behaviors. This was studied by Elizabeth Lotus and led to therapists leading with the question, what happened? If a therapist were to ask something specific to the situation and assume something, false information might peep into the person's memory. And the last section of this video is Freudian thinking. Sigmund Freud, he believed that we mind purposely repress memories and forget about them. He called this motivated forgetting. Motivated forgetting could be either conscious or unconscious in order to shy away from unacceptable behaviors or painful memories. Repression is one of the defense mechanisms in Freud's psychoanalytic theory. Defense mechanisms protect our self-concepts and attempt to minimize the anxiety we feel about the subject. Defense mechanisms is a really important concept. I believe there are like around 10 terms that you need to remember for defense mechanisms, and we will be talking about this in our future videos in Unit 5. So thank you for watching today and hope you enjoy.